And then we ended up watching a comedy show over the weekend.
Yes, we did.
That's right.
Because I remember I hit you up last week or so. I was like, hey, I saw David Attell, who is yours and my favorite comedian, one of our favorite comedians. I saw David Attell was coming to the Irvine Improv, and I hit you up. And you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to be in town. And then, sure enough, that same day, like, mind you, I'm at the age where I'm starting not to do the same day planning, where if you hit me up, like, I need, like, more advance notice. But, Mark, you hit me up, and I was like, I can't say no to Mark Gonzales and a night with David Attell.
Yeah, the first thing I thought was, I had a show in Palm Springs, so I was out of town. And then when I came back, I was trying to look at the dates, and for some reason, David Attell's, one of his accounts came up on my feed, and I was reminded, I was like, David Attell, that's right. Like, we got to go. So immediately I was like, oh yeah, we're going. Like I was gonna go regardless.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the last time we went to a comedy show together was the first time we ever met.
Yes.
And it was for Doug Stanhope at the Ontario Improv. I could get the date later because I have the bootleg on
June
that too.
2014.
Wow, look at you! Remember like our first date?
Oh yeah. And I actually went with another person. I went with Quincy Johnson.
How dare you? I love Quincy. Shout out QJ2. I was trying to say QJ2.
I went with Quincy, and then I ended up finding you.
Haha, I won. That's hilarious. But yeah, and here we are. Like those two are my two favorite comedians of all time. I will say it. Like I love Ronnie Dangerfield. I love others, but I gotta say Eddie Murphy's what got me into comedy. Like as a kid, but as an adult, as a professional stand-up comedian, there's two living comedy gods. It's Doug Stanhope and it's David Attell.
Yeah,
for sure. Like.
And so the whole thing about bumping mics and like what happened.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Ross said like, I remember in an interview, Jeff Ross is the roast master. Jeff Ross would like do improv with David Attell where they would bump mics if you never seen it. Like they would just actually talk trash about each other, like just come up with new riffs and like new shade to throw at each other. I never knew until Jeff Ross said that Jeff Ross goes up and he literally. If he has a good diss, he goes, I'm going to keep this in my back pocket. So he has literally a Rolodex of disses of like, if this guy's fat, then I have 150 jokes off the top of my head about him being fat. If he's short, then blah, blah, blah. David Attell, apparently, anytime Jeff Ross wanted to evolve a joke, he goes, I'm going to throw this softball because I said it the night before. David Attell would just totally like throw it another way, another direction, because he always wanted to keep things new. He's not the type of person that likes to be a recorder and repeat the jokes. He wants to keep things fresh.
That's the one thing. Like I've seen Don Rickles live, and he's one of my favorite comedians of all time. Like I channel him. I visit his grave all the time. If you follow me on Instagram, and Dave reminded me of Don Rickles, but with like new material. Like Don always had like the lines, the M&Ms, oh, I saw your dad and da-da-da, but it was his go-tos. David Attell, every single time I've seen him, has new material. And I just can't believe the consistency that he has with his joke writing. The Hooter joke.
Yeah,
we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
Which, for those at home, it's a clean joke, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He just goes, you ever been to, like, this is how I remembered it. He goes, you ever been to Hooters? When was the last time we went to Hooters? The last time I went, it looked like a Me Too museum. Like, it's so funny that because I always thought that because like all these old restaurants, Twin Peaks, Hooters, I'm like, how can they still get away with it? Like in 2022, like with everything going on.
And the brilliant of him tagging the joke, and I'll never forget this. He goes, I ordered the chicken fingers wrapped in a subpoena. I'm just like, the way he used subpoena to sound like like an hors d'oeuvre or like an appetizer. I'm like, this is brilliant, dude.
There's another one that just came to mind right now. I'm just trying to remember. I just slipped. Which one was it? It was the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's like legit the one. I think I could say it. Yeah, he just goes, I've been in the Boy Scout. When I was a kid, when I was a boy, I was in the Boy Scouts. No, wait, man, I don't think I could say it. I think about it. No, I can't. But listen, follow me on Instagram. You can watch it.
And even meeting him, by the way, he was like super nice. I didn't think I can't recall the last time I ever fangirled over someone because you went, okay, so after the show, you luckily, because it's post-COVID or still we're in COVID, but like we're back to like opening things up. So you get to buy merch and you actually get to see the comedian right there, right? And you get to take photos. So you went first. When you went up to David Attell, I even made fun of you afterwards because you were like, Dave, you're the greatest of all time, or you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT.
Yeah, I said you're the greatest of all time.
And I was like, I was like, I'm not sure. I'm like, you're kind of kissing his ass on that one. And then like, I'm trying to think of words to cram up to like be concise. And so I'm like panicking. I'm like, you're the best.
Dad. Be like me and Hulk Hogan. What's up, brother? I'm not your brother. I'm your son. You should have did that. But like, it's so funny because it's like one of those things where it's like I sometimes I can't. Like I try to not be. I try to be professional, especially with them around other comedians.
Right.
Like like when I met Ralphie, I was always like really respectful. There's sometimes once in a while I will get that starstruck where I think the last time I really got starstruck, even when I met Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I was like I kept it cool. But I think all those years of comedy and like hanging out, like I remember one time it was me, Dane Cook, David Spade, all in the same room at the Comedy Store. I'm just hanging out with them. We're just like BSing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if 21-year-old me was in that situation, I'd be freaking out. But like, I think I was like 35 at the time. I was like, it was just, at that time I was like, I think 15 years of comedy. So I was like, oh, just another day. So with you with David Attell being starstruck, is that something that's rare for you, or do you still kind of like can be under composure and be cool about it?
Because there are certain people that it's been a long time, and it's because like I've been around certain people, and I actually have had to play in some places the security guard between a celebrity and the fan.
Really? With who?
In radio.
Did you say?
Larry Elder.
Oh yeah.
So,
he's hilarious.
But like, for example, because I work at a Republican radio station, don't please, you guys, I'm apolitical. So
I know what he voted for.
But when it came to Larry Elder, I've been to like those events where like so many people are like, oh my God, can I get just a minute? I'm like, no. I'm like, just a minute. I know what a minute is to them.
Do you have sunglasses on, like an earpiece?
No.
You're not like that? You're
I'm
like...
not like a taser. Like I just have my work polo. And then like, because they're too cheap at where I work, they're like, hey, walk him to his car. And I'm just like, oh, God, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not wearing a Men in Black suit where it's just like, like.
A gun?
Yeah. Or like if there's a sniper shooter, I'm not gonna dive forward. I'm like, well, that's it for Larry.
Oops, sorry, you're not Reagan. But
I love Larry, by the way. He's awesome.
He's great. He's great. Good ideas.
Dennis, on the other hand, I'm not sure if I would take a bullet for Dennis.
Listen, I wrote in Hollywood Hulk Hogan for his last presidency, okay? And I took pictures of it. So that's why I voted for it. But anyway.
Sorry, like there are certain people. I'm trying to like even when you brought up comedians, like there are certain comedians that when I first started off, I'll be like, oh my God, that's amazing. But then over time, I'm just like, oh, that's cool. That's Chris Rock right there, or oh, that's Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, and same thing. I bumped into Chris Rock one time at the Comedy Store, hanging out for like a couple minutes, and just small talk. It's one thing I noticed that as long as you treat them like just a normal person, they will always treat you back, and so forth. So like. I'm trying to think of the last time I really like fangirled. When I was 16, I met Rob Van Dam at Frankensons. That was the only time I was like, I don't know what to say.
Can I smoke weed with you?
Yeah, which I did eventually. We ended up taping a pilot for Spike TV. I actually worked with him. Last time I ran into him, I was at a taping for the Wow Women of Wrestling, and he goes, "Hey, we know each other, don't we?" I was like, "Yeah, dude." I brought it up. And I mentioned it.
Was he like, "Hey, do you want to sleep with my girl?"
Both of them. I knew him when he was with Sonya, so like I remember like getting to know both of them. But it was cool, just the fact that he remembered. But thank God he doesn't remember me being a fangirl when I was at 16 when I met him. But it's kind of weird. That I had a weird life, meeting my idols. But with David Attell, it's like there's so much I want to tell him, but it's like Like, what do you say? That's what I was like, well, say how I feel.
Don't want to be the 50th person, I don't want to be the 50th person today and like the 100,000th person to say, hey, Skanks for the Memories is the greatest comedy album ever. I don't want to be that person that he's already heard the same, especially as someone that says something new almost every time he goes up on stage.
Yeah, but if someone went up to me like, hey, Gonzo was a great comedy album, I'd be like, first of all, Mom, you said this so many times already. I would appreciate it if someone so I feel like with Attell, because Attell's always low on himself. There's all these stand-up always talks about how like he just doesn't think he's funny, and I think Attell would appreciate it. I'm sure he's heard it. He'll shrug it off. But like he liked your tweet. He also liked my tweet as well.
Oh my God.
So that was like but he does that too. Every time I mention him, I notice he'll do that. So he does read, and I feel like as a comic, we're our worst critic, our own worst critic. So, but I feel like he would appreciate it.
And I'm not even just joking about this. If I ever like have an animated series, if I ever have like a movie or anything like that, I'm going to get David Attell in it.
Absolutely, his voice is perfect.
It's voiceover written all over. Like, did you ever watch him on Dr. Katz?
No, but I knew he was on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember Hedberg was on it a couple episodes, so I watched those. But was he funny?
Yeah, he did one of his stand-up jokes where it's just like, so anyways, my dog is licking himself. I'm masturbating. We lock eyes, and we just start laughing. They show the cartoon of that.
Lock eyes, and we start laughing.